Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill, Ben Affleck, Jesse Eisenberg, Gal Gadot, and Jeremy Irons. So this movie, I was very excited for it. I liked Man of Steel. I was one of the very few people who actually liked Man of Steel quite a bit. It was not a perfect movie, but I enjoyed Man of Steel a lot, and I thought it was a fairly cohesive, very well made film. So Batman v Superman I was looking forward to. However, I got really skeptical along the way. A couple years ago, Ben Affleck was announced as Batman. A lot of people did not like that. Myself included, I didn't really have a lot of faith in Ben Affleck. Not that he's a bad actor, I just thought that he wasn't going to really deliver that much. And Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman, I was very skeptical about as well. And especially Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor, I didn't think would do a good job at all. I actually was pretty sold that he would not deliver. I thought he was a pretty terrible choice as Lex Luthor. And I'm going to tell you right now, I have some really mixed feelings about this movie, okay? Obviously, you know which side I'm on, because I'm wearing the Batman. I'm actually wearing my Batman hat right now. I'm very conflicted with this movie, because this movie is going to be split between two completely different audiences, okay? For one, I'm a movie fanatic, okay? I love film. I love when very well made movies are made. I analyze the stories, how the cinematography is, I analyze the acting, I analyze the shots, how shots are put together, I analyze all that stuff. So that's one hand. On the other hand, I'm a huge comic book geek. Obviously, you can see all the stuff around me. I think that's my Joker poster right back there. And then that is my Batman Arkham Knight poster back there. So obviously, you know I'm a huge Batman fan. I have two Star Wars comic books behind me, Avengers and Dark Knight Rises poster up there, along with the Star Wars poster right behind me back there. So obviously, I'm a big comic book fan, and I have read plenty of Superman comic books as well. I feel like this is how it's going to go between audiences, okay? You're going to have one audience that's going to love this movie, and that's going to be the die-hard comic book fans, either huge Batman fans or huge Superman fans. I think those kinds of people are going to love this movie to death. Okay. However, that audience to me is very biased, and I can be biased towards superhero movies too. I try not to be, but I sometimes am because I'm a pretty big nerd, as you can see. So those are my two sides of me and the two different audiences that I think are going to split the decision for whether this movie is good or bad. And for me personally, I'm very split. This movie is really entertaining. It does justice to a lot of characters. As a film, though, it's a complete train wreck. Okay, but we're going to talk about the good first, okay? What I really liked about the movie, and that's going to be Ben Affleck as Batman. So when he was first announced to be Batman, I was very iffy about it, okay? I wasn't sure if he was going to be good or bad. I mean, he was Daredevil in the past. Some people really liked Daredevil. Some people really did not like Daredevil at all. I was like, I'm rooting for the guy, but I don't know if he can be a good Batman. I'm not sure. I would not pick him to be Batman. Turns out, he was the best part of the movie. I'm not saying that because, like, other things sucked in the movie, therefore he's, like, the default thing that was actually not that bad. No, he was actually a very good Batman. Actually, the best Batman to date, in my opinion. Holy God, I thought I would never say that. Over Christian Bale, so far we've had, what, like now 5 different Batmans, and I love Christian Bale's Batman. I love Christopher Nolan's Dark Knight trilogy. I love Christian Bale as Bruce Wayne and Batman. I am shocked to say Ben Affleck's Batman is now my favorite Batman to date. Holy crap. I never thought I would actually say that, but Batman was awesome. Everything about Batman in this movie is fantastic. He is definitely the thing that brought the movie together. If Batman wasn't as good in this movie as he was, the movie overall I just would think would be pretty bad. He, first of all, was a fantastic Bruce Wayne. He was very damaged and dark and gritty Batman, darker than we've ever seen before. And then when he puts on the Batman suit, again, a couple years ago when he was announced as Batman, I thought I might just see him in the Batman suit and be like, it's Ben Affleck wearing a Batman suit, it's not Batman. But actually, no, when he puts on the Batman suit, when he goes and does his Batman stuff, he's good. Not just Ben Affleck as Batman, but just Batman as he's done in the movie is my favorite Batman now. By far. Jeremy Irons as Alfred was really good too. He was so good. I honestly don't know who I like better between Michael Caine and Jeremy Irons. I really don't know. Jeremy Irons doesn't get a lot of screen time in this movie, but when he does, he's really good. I really dug him. Everything about Batman, the Batcave, the Batmobile, the Batman suit, Everything about Batman, just everything, it worked. Except for one little thing, kind of a big thing. Not really. It's okay, sort of. It's hard to explain. I'll talk about it later in the bad stuff. But there's only one thing about Batman that I did not like, and I'll talk about that later. Moving on, Superman. I'm gonna be honest, Superman I'm not as attached to. I like Superman a lot as a character, and this is one of the reasons why I like Man of Steel, is because Man of Steel humanized Superman more than he's ever been in any movie. They made Superman relate more to a human than he does to an alien and a Kryptonian. They've never really done that to that big of an extent, and then Man of Steel came out, and then they did it, and I was like, wow, Man of Steel really did that well, and it brought me closer to Superman as a character. He's not as good as Batman, but he still, I thought, was pretty good. He didn't do much in the movie. He pretty much was there to take on a bunch of hate, and so that I like. Henry Cavill as Superman, I'll get into later, but Superman as the character stands in this movie was pretty cool, and I thought he was good. Okay, I want to talk about this. Wonder Woman. Wonder Woman. She was fantastic. Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. Or Gal Gadot. I think it's Gal Gadot. I think that's how you pronounce her name. I could be wrong. I think it's Gal Gadot, though, so I'm going to say Gadot. She was great. I mean, for when she was on screen. Wonder Woman was not in this movie very much, and I'll get into that later in the bad stuff. When she was on screen doing stuff, she was fantastic. I loved Gal Gadot as Wonder Woman. I thought she worked very, very well. And I can't wait to see her solo movie too. I want to see her solo movie really bad. The action sequences are fantastic. They're very well put together. Very like fireworks-esque, you know, like it's just like, ooh, ah, like that's cool. That's really cool. All right, now we're going to talk about the bad stuff, okay? Oh boy, because this movie has its fair share amount of bad. Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. When he was first announced to be Lex Luthor, like a year and a half ago, I didn't like it then, and I don't like it now. I've seen the movie, and back when he was announced, I was like, I don't think that's gonna work. That's not because Jesse Eisenberg's a bad actor. That's just because he's not Lex Luthor. He's fine. I mean, and Lex Luthor in the comic books and in every other adaptation that's ever done Lex Luthor, he's very methodical. He's very big and very uptight, very businessman-esque, okay? Jesse Eisenberg is Lex Luthor. I mean, he's just a twerp. He's just a very socially awkward, very fast talkative, very... He's not Lex Luthor. He's not. I think possibly in the movie they declare that he's Lex Luthor's son. So you could make the excuse that, well, he's Lex Luthor's son, and therefore that's why he's supposed to be like all socially awkward and stuff. I didn't like how they portrayed Lex Luthor or Lex Luthor Jr. or whatever he is in the movie. I thought he was pretty bad. I thought he had very Lex Luthor-esque lines. It's just the way Jesse Eisenberg portrayed him that I didn't think was correct. And then you have everything else in this movie. Oh my god. Here's where my film side of me comes into play quite a bit. The film is a complete mess. How scenes mesh together and how they transition from scene to scene to scene as a cohesive story. That aspect of the movie is a complete train wreck from start to finish. The movie is not cohesive at all. It's not. Man of Steel, some people thought was not a very cohesive film. Man of Steel is leaps and bounds more cohesive. Here's what I was talking about earlier with Batman. He kills people, and I don't really like that he kills people because in every single Batman adaptation, minus the Tim Burton movies, he doesn't kill people. I don't understand why he kills people. He uses guns, actually, to kill people. It's the thing with Batman to not use guns. So why he uses guns in this movie and kills people, I was kind of shocked. And then we have Superman. I don't know what happened with Superman in this movie. I really don't. Sometimes Henry Cavill as Superman, his acting's good in some scenes, and then in other scenes, it's not good. It's like his acting chops just like disappeared and then reappeared in other scenes. I don't know what happened there, but he just was okay in the film, I thought. There were times where I was like, your acting is just gone right now. I don't know what's going on. Then the other really big thing that I have in the movie that I just did not like at all is Doomsday. Yeah, you know that thing that they spoiled for us in the second trailer? Yeah, that's as dumb as it looks in the trailer. In the movie, Doomsday is just stupid. I'm sorry. I did not like Doomsday. I thought he was just there for Wonder Woman, Batman, and Superman to fight. The first, like, 5 minutes of the Doomsday fight sequence is just not good. Like, the CGI that they used to make him was just terrible. He's just a big, fat, dumb, stupid monster that's just conveniently there for the end heroes to fight the monster, and that's pretty much why he's there, and it's just dumb, and I didn't like it at all. In the end, this movie suffers from what I feared it was going to suffer from, and that's the fact that there's not a cohesive story. There is sort of one if you want to, like, push it a little bit. There's sort of one. The story's very discombobulated. Storylines don't mesh together very well. There's so many different subplots going on at once. The story and the screenplay for this movie is a big, huge, fat mess. That's where this film really drags for me, is because the storytelling's so terrible. And I have to talk about this too real quick. For those of you who are not big film addicts like me, you're not going to know what I'm talking about. The editing for this movie, there are some places in this movie where I was like, the editing is atrocious. I don't know who the editor for this movie was. The way shots are cut together, it just was pretty bad. Like, in other scenes, especially in the action sequences, it was fine. Like, it's okay. I didn't really mind it. It's just bad. I don't know who the editor was. Guys, here's my final thoughts on Batman vs. Superman: Dawn of Justice. This movie, its purpose was to set up the Justice League, and it does that, but it fails to be a cohesive movie on its own, which I think is what it has to be. Any movie, no matter how much it's trying to set up another movie, it needs to be a cohesive film. It needs to have a cohesive story. It needs to have a story that's easy to follow. This movie is very, very unfocused, and because of that, I can't really give it a fresh rating on the Rotten Tomatoes scale. Besides that, the action sequences are pretty good. Almost all the performances are really good, besides Jesse Eisenberg as Lex Luthor. Some of Henry Cavill's acting. Man, this film was just, it was a pretty big letdown. It was a pretty big disappointment, and I kind of suspected it was going to be that after I saw the trailers. I was kind of just like, I think this film's going to be a mess, and it turns out it was a pretty big mess. I can't really give it a fresh rating, so I'm going to go ahead and go 52 out of 100 points for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. On a pretty serious note, though, I would not recommend bringing your kids to see this movie. There are some really dark sequences in this movie where shit goes down, and I'm just like, whoa. And there are some really frightening, really dark images in this movie too. Really dark and really dreary. And there are some sequences where kids will have nightmares for days. So don't take your kids to see this movie, okay? This movie was a very obvious attempt that DC is just trying to catch up to Marvel because Marvel's so ahead of the game. I really hope that DC makes more cohesive movies from here on out, which I think we'll get with Suicide Squad coming up. I have a few questions for you guys. Out of all the Batmans out there right now, out of Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney, who is your guys' favorite Batman? Comment down below, let me know what you think, and hit the subscribe button if you're cool enough, and I'll see you guys next time.